Hi and welcome to Homolidens, the channel of history and board games. I'm very happy to have all of you already here. I can see that there is quite a lot of viewers for this live stream of France 1944, the Allied Crusade in Europe, the teach and play of Mark Herman's game, playing against Mark Ruggiero. So for those who are wondering why we're doing this, actually that was part of the interview of Mark that we did for Wargame Archaeology with Liz that was released a couple of weeks back. Mark said, I want to play France 1944 with Mark Herman. And I said, well, I just sent a message to Mark and see if we can do it. And here we are, really excited to do this. Thanks a lot, Mark Herman, for taking the time. I think it's going to be fun. And yeah, Mark, the other Mark, Mark R. I hope that we're going to have a lot of fun. This one has been on my shelf of shame for a while. Well, I have the Victory Games edition. I don't have the Compass one, but we'll be playing the Compass one today. And maybe we can start with this, Mark. Can you explain to us a bit the differences between the two versions?
Uh, well, yeah, sure. Well, first off, welcome everybody. Nice to see everybody. This lovely, I guess it's what is it, Tuesday or something like that? I guess it's
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, yeah.
This is why I can't run for president. I can't remember the date or the time of or anymore. So, so if you go back to 1980, what is it, 86? I think it was. And this is a shout out to my daughter Lara. She was the exact age her daughter is right now. She was about 18 months old, and I don't know, she was probably sick or something, but she was up, in the middle of the night, like she was up like, midnight or something like that. So I got up, and and then we put her back to bed, and I was up, and all of a sudden I had this epiphany of how to do this game. And I sat up the rest of the night, and I did what I used to, I did an all-nighter, and in the morning I had France 1944, the Victory Games version you have there. There is, obviously component-wise, the two games, the Compass version is much more, it's much prettier. It's got a mounted board, and the scenario is longer. But the main difference is I reimagined the combat system. I've moved away from, the CRTs of the 80s. I've moved more into the kind of CRTs I like now, which are more, what's the overall, how did the battle go? Did we launch a good attack and you had a good defense, or I launched a good attack and you had a lousy defense? I like thinking about battles that way, because when you read battles, in the reality is, and there's a lot of real academic stuff on this, the guys in the battle don't know what the force ratio is. They don't know anything. They don't have any casualty they've taken. So all the ways that we traditionally looked at these things are useful from a game point of view, but they're not what they were dealing with. So I kind of moved into a different kind of same kind of thing I did with Rebel Fury, a much more narrative combat system, which is just as accurate statistically, but more of a narrative, so you understand why it came out the way it was. It wasn't I just rolled a 5. It's I had the advantage in the battle, he failed his morale, that kind of stuff. And so the combat systems are very, very different. But the overall sequence of play and how this strange table that I came up with in 1986 in the middle of the night is still very much the heart of the game. So, and I think a little bit more, not much. Oh, and I added, there's a little bit more scenario stuff around V1. You can go after the V1 sites, it becomes an issue, and opening the Brittany ports is more of an issue than it was in the original game. So those are the things that have been. It's a better simulation, historical analysis of the campaign than the original one was, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, and actually I was wondering about that, because this is the core of the system, activation system, is the cheat pool system. So we're going to draw cheats from a cup, and we actually buy those cheats from one round to another by spending supply points for future rounds. And I was wondering, so I don't think I've seen a game that early. So that was 1986, the first time with the cheat pool activation. Did you came up with this, or was there other Hex Encounter games that had similar systems?
I don't, I'm not, I'm not the industry's historian, but it would, I guess the way I would look at it, somebody commented after this game came out, they said, wow, when they heard that it was done back in '86, they said, "Really?" And by the way, just to be clear, the reception of this game in '86 was like it was like a lead balloon hitting the ground. It was different. It was way out there from what everybody was looking for. It wasn't Igo Hugo. It wasn't. It was nothing like anything anybody had ever seen. The box, unfortunately, the 2-inch box with a paper map, what is it, like half a counter sheet and a rule booklet, it weighed nothing. So people thought that there was nothing in the box. It was the box. You have the box there, Fred. It feels very light, doesn't it, for a 2-inch box? It feels like there's nothing in there. Fred, I don't hear you.
You're on mute, Fred.
I was about to. Yeah, I was saying. Yeah, the box feels light. I think it could have been thinner, probably, but it looks better on the shelf. Like
remember,
this.
I didn't have those choices. This is how Avalon Hill. Remember, Victor Games was part of Avalon Hill, so this is what they did. There wasn't a 1-inch box option.
I'll say this: if it wasn't one of the first chip pull, it had to be pretty close.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because
this game is based on nothing other than 3 o'clock in the morning. I was up.
Yeah, and the counter sheet was just this. So the allies have been removed, but basically that's the only thing that you have.
Yeah. So it was a half. We call that a half counter sheet.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty. Oh, what comes with it, which is actually pretty cool, and I was happy when I found it, is it comes with a very cool Avalon Hill Victory Games catalog that you can go through. So if you want to see what's up, what you can buy,
it's got James Bond on the cover.
If you go on,
look at that!
Hitler's
yeah.
That's the good stuff. The good stuff. So you can look at it.
Fred, when we put that catalog together, I was younger then than you are now.
And for the role-playing fans here, you've got a new edition of RuneQuest, which is a game that still has a new edition from Chaosium that was released recently. So nothing changed actually, and yeah, just for you, Mark, you have the James Bond games.
I saw that was
excellent stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's good stuff.
Anyway, so whatever it is, this game is its own thing, and as I said at the time, it was universally reviled at the time. And then all of a sudden, this nice guy who's the developer of the game got a copy of, I don't know, he paid like 99 cents for a copy. I mean, remember, we made, even though by those standards, I only think we sold like 15 to 17,000 of them. By today's standards, that would be a big hit. But back then, that was a total failure for us. And everybody hated it. And I just figured that was the end of it. I always thought it was a much better game than it was given credit for, but that's just, but I was the one who made it, so wouldn't I think that? But I played it over the years, and then this guy Judd Vance, who was on, they had a podcast.
So Bonding, it was called Bonding with Board Games. The channel still exists.
But anyway, Judd and the chief and that nice Air Force guy. Anyway, the three of them. And Judd one time just went off about how much he loved this game. And it kind of like, and then John Krantz was doing the Consim. You were just talking about going to Consim World, Mark.
Yeah.
John Krantz had a small publishing label for a while. And he said to me, do you mind? I would like to republish this game after he saw the Judd Vance thing. I said, sure. And then when he went to Compass, he asked me, could he publish it through Compass? So that's how it got to Compass. It was really my connection to John Krantz and Consim World and it was Judd Vance resurrecting the game in the minds of people. John Krantz taking an interest. I mean, it's just kind of a weird, but now it's back. And by the way, I do play this regularly. It's the only European World War II game I've ever done. But and it's also, by the way, where I really first developed my headquarters activation concept. Also, isn't it? Like Empire of the Sun almost has that, reaches back to that also.
Well, let me just really quick. I mean, I'll just add, like, as a war game player, right? Is like the version the Compass did a really nice version. I have the original too, but never played. So the best, but I will say, like, they did a nice job on the components and everything, and I'm excited to get the chance to play it today. And you're on my channel. I talk about, I have certain designers that are like, and you're one of them, Mark, that just like, okay, Mark did a game. Okay, I'm going to buy it. There's, you and a few other ones, but
Well, I will
Always
say, Mark,
innovative and interesting.
I'm humbled by the fact that, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm humbled by the fact that people get enjoyment out of what I do because I get enjoyment doing it. And by the way, I don't know, I can't speak for any other designers, but I actually play my games because I did them because I wanted to play them. So, one of the nice things about doing this stream was I've already played France 44 solo twice over the last couple of days over the July 4th holiday, just so I could be competent again to talk about it. But I had a great time.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
The market garden scenario, so I was very excited. It's hard to do.
And getting it out of my shelf of shame. Actually, I bought the game after we had the stream of Rebel Fury because we're talking about the combat system, and you were talking about the fact that you inspired your combat system in Rebel Fury from the new edition of France 1944. Unfortunately, in Europe, I could only find this version, but I was happy to have the original one. And if I can find a copy of the new one, I think that would be awesome. But I'm really looking forward to trying it. And when I was reading the rulebook, I was like, it's funny because it reminds me a lot of another Hex Encounter game that was released almost 20 years later, which is A Victory Lost, where you have a cheat pool for activation, and you activate a headquarter, and the headquarter has a range, and this is what you can do. I was like,
I think the game has had.
I think it did influence people, even if it didn't have maybe commercial success. It feels like it had a very significant influence on other designers.
But remember, I did this game in 80. Is it 86? What's it say on the copyright on that box? Is it 86 on it?
I think it's 86. I need to.
Behind you. Look at the box cover. The box cover has it on the lower left corner, I think.
Yeah, I'm just checking if at the first page of because you have game credit.
In front of the box, Fred.
In front of the box.
86. 86.
Yeah. So that's now going on. Is that 40 years ago?
38
years. 38, yeah, we're closing in on 40 years. I mean, it's held up well. We're gonna say.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Mark and I will reserve our judgment for play the game.
Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna see. I played. I don't really care what you think. But
that's nice.
For those who like book game pairings, Rick Atkinson's Day of Battle is right at the level of where this game plays. So if you want to read a book and kind of play a game, check out Day of Battle by Rick Atkinson. It's a third volume of his World Liberation trilogy or whatever he calls it.
Yeah, I know exactly. I have the trilogy sitting unread on my shelf.
Yeah, the first one's called The Army at Dawn, which is North Africa. The second one, I forget the title, but it covers Sicily and in Italy. And volume 3, which is The Day of Battle, covers literally this whole campaign, obviously including Normandy. But that's another thing, a decision I made long ago, is I find that games that at the operational level that try to show Normandy throw some kind of procedural thing, which I find it's just a die roll exercise. It's kind of annoying. There's no real decision. So I left all that out. This game begins with Cobra, and Cobra is, depending on how you want to count it, it's July 25th to 27th of 1944. So that's the opening of this game. And what's also fun, which we did, is the first turn, there's only 2 activation chits in the cup. They're both allied, so there's no German. Germans get reaction movement, so you're going to get that. And I'll talk about that in the system. But you can play the 1-turn July, the Phthalate Gap scenario is a 1-turn solitaire experience. And so we'll after we finish the first turn, we'll evaluate where you might have ended up at the end of Phthalate anyway. To see how you did.
Okay, sounds good. But I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Vassal on stream. There is just a question from Eric here for both of you guys because and the question is, have you played the Jest of Robin Hood?
So the answer is
I've played it.
I'm glad to hear that, actually. The answer is I haven't, but no, I'm too buried in my own projects. But I'm hopeful that I am going to WBC. What is it, about a little less than 2.5 weeks from now? And I plan on, if somebody's got it, I'll play it there. Check it out.
And I have it, and I haven't played it. No, not yet. But we have monthly
shame on you, Mark.
But we have monthly meetups here in Lodi, so I'm hoping to bring it to that.
Oh, Brian is Guns at Last. Maybe the Guns at Last Light is the third volume. I remember Day of Battle might be the second volume. But anyway, you want to read the third volume to hook it up to this game.
Got it.
Okay, Fred, your show. You tell me what you want me to do. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it on stream. Just give me a sec. I'm gonna add this, and then I'm gonna go to the page where we actually play. So here we are. And this is, I'm gonna change the zoom so to fit to width so people can see the overall situation.
Fred, and bring up the that hit the that's what I want to see.
Yeah. So just for people to understand, this is the overall map, but for the beginning, for basically what's happening during Operation Cobra, you have a zoomed in map where you have a bit more space to actually move pieces around. So this is just a close-up version of what you have here. So it's not a different map, it's just a bigger version of this.
Right, and pretty much after this first attack, we're going to shift all the pieces to the big map and ignore this for the rest of the time. This was a Judd dance. Judd did a great job thinking, like I said, the stacks were. So for those who forget the history, June 6th, we invade, the Allies invade Normandy. Now we're in the end of July. So now the Allies have been sort of stuck fighting through the Bocage country. They never took Caen, all this kind of stuff. And they're jammed in here. And now it's July 25th, and we're going to be bringing in the big bombers, and they're going to try to break out. And what we're going to be simulating is Cobra. This is Operation Cobra. So let me I got to figure out how to make this. This what I need to make bigger.
Just so people know, one thing that was really interesting too, because I read the rules last night, but is this? There's no special rules in the board game. Like when you transfer from this map to the regular map, it's literally like just hex for hex.
Yeah, it is exactly the same map. You just yeah.
I mean, in Vassal, you're going to eventually press a button, but on the just so people, if they're interested, I thought that was pretty cool because some games do this and then they have all these special rules. Oh, to do this,
No, this is just a convenience thing. In fact, you could literally ignore this, set them all up on the main map, and ignore this if that's what you want to do. So This is a convenience. But given that we're on a live stream, this is helpful. So for those looking at the screen, let's just quickly describe. So if we let's look at hex 1109, which is the far left of the blow up map. Yeah, thank you, Fred. So the basic units of the game are infantry corps and armored divisions. The yellow number on each of those units is its morale rating. So this is not a game. Force ratios matter in how you calculate attrition, but how you do in a battle is how well did your boys fight. And so what you have here is, if you look at the let's look at the 7th U.S. Infantry Corps. It's got a morale rating of 4. It has a movement allowance of 4. And then you see two numbers stacked up, a 9 over a 3. The next to those
3
numbers, there's a letter that says S and M. And it doesn't let's use M and S, so we don't want anybody having weird thoughts. The 9 is the set piece strength of the infantry corps when it fights in a more, lined up and artillery and all that jazz. And the 3 is its mobile. If it's in a mobile battle, which we have in this game, and they're very important for the pursuit piece, it's a 3. So basically, it's 3 times better when they line up all the big guns and all this stuff. And that's an infantry corps. If you look at the armor division, on the other hand, let's see the 4th U.S. here. It's got a higher morale. It's got a morale of 5. It's a very good unit. It's got a movement allowance of 6. But you'll note that its mobile strength is 1 better than its set piece strength, right? So it's going to be more advantaged in a mobile battle, but it's still good in a set piece battle. But the main thing is in this particular the 2-5 unit. And by the way, this is the 4th, the famous. By the way, this is Patton's 4th, though, Hell on Wheels division. So this, but again, this game is infantry corps and armored divisions. Now, if we look at the overall situation, the 84th Corps is holding the far left flank, and this is where Cobra is aimed at, and we're going to be seeing that as we walk through the game. And then you've got this very, very excellent second power. This is the second powers, very strong unit from a, it just was a tough outfit. And then you've got but then you've got what they call over West armor. So you got tons of armor blocking in, as you see, like here's the second and the 21st and the 116th, I'm guessing is this one here.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the SS divisions. Here's the 9th SS. There's the Lair, which was a good unit, but got badly beat up. The 17th SS Panzer Grenadier. So this is very high quality. This is the best unit that the Germans had pretty much in their order of battle at this point, because unlike the guys on the East Front, these guys have not been in battle in a while. They're pretty much close to their table of organization and equipment. And of course, at this point, they're a little bit reduced, but the point is everybody's at full strength. Then if you look at the other counters, and Fred will be using this, there's a French armored division here, so Vive la France, right? We got a French armored division here. The red ones are British, and the green symbols are Canadian. So you got, and now the most important thing is, Fred, can you, if I do it, will it be seen, or you got to do it? Can I do this? Let me see. Activate unit. Does this show up? Let me see.
I'm looking at the module. Let's see.
Yeah. I have Fred. Yeah, there it is. So the most important thing this is an HQ activation system. So this is Patton, the 3rd U.S. Army, and the headquarters are all armies. And you'll see that it says ARM 5, INF 5, and it's got a 6. So when this unit what you do is when you pull a chit from the cup that activates in each quarter, you pay the supply chit and you activate 1 HQ. And when you activate the HQ, you flip it over to like this. And this is telling you that he can command 5 armored and 5 infantry corps. The 6 is his range. So everybody within 6 hexes of him, with all the basic rules of you can't trace through enemy hexes and all that nonsense. And you can trace through hexes with your own friendly units, by the way. That's important in this game. You can activate 5 armored divisions and 5 infantry corps. And so the opening attack is going to be activating Patton. We're going to show, and I go through this, I did a vassal log last night, which Fred will step through when we get there. And you'll see the units that I activated, and then we're going to launch the attacks. And I had Fred and Mark send me, they didn't know what the die rolls meant, but they sent me their die rolls yesterday. And that's what I used in the results for the first combats. So this way they rolled the dice, but I didn't have to roll them myself. You rolled them, and then I just applied the results for where we're going to get to. So that's what's going on the map. And as you can see, the majority of the units are all here because this is where the action is. The Germans have a couple of units covering fortresses and potty clay and all that stuff. But basically, at the beginning of the game, 90% of the units are right here. So, and because neither of these gentlemen have played before, I conducted the opening just so we could move quickly into the game and not have to try to figure out what's a good attack look like or whatever. So now, if we could, we'll put this, we're going to close this for a moment. And I'm going to bring up this. Okay, so this is the thing that is running the game. It says movement point expenditure track, right? So
can people see that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So, okay. And if I hit Alt, okay. So there are 6. When you activate it, so what I was trying to get across in this design is usually when you have a design, you move or you attack or whatever. What I wanted here was that when somebody was activated, they could control the tempo of their offensive, right? So you could either, if you're way behind enemy lines, behind your own lines, you could just move a lot. So there is a way to do that. If you wanted to make an armored breakthrough, it would look like this. If you wanted to make a penetrating armor attack or a set piece attack or combined arms offensive, there would be a different sequence in the actual operational details of how Patton would put that together. And so you get to actually make that choice. So we're going to and to describe this trap, you'll see each of these boxes has a little matrix above it, right? So if I go here, you see you got a 6, a 4, a 3, and a 2. That is the number of movement points a particular unit has that it will expend in that increment. Now, so what it's saying is in this particular increment where the penetrating armor attack, what it's basically saying is I've got a hole in the line of some kind, so I'm going to move. See, and if there's a number in the box, you can have an attack sequence. If not, it's only movement. So basically, an armor unit can move 4 movement points in a sequence. A core can also move 4, and then a 3. So basically, the 3s and the 2s are using all their movement, but the movement will move guys forward. And in this case, the idea is the infantry corps are going to be holding some kind of shoulders because there's no attack in this thing. So it would look like, so you would make a choice in the game, it would look like this. Let me see if that, yeah, there you go. And that'll flip over, right? So it's a movement increment, and everybody's going to move, no combat. So the zone of controls will stop people from, zooming around and all that stuff. And then once you're done with that, we're going to move this down to here, and you will have a choice, right? So if there's nobody in front of your tanks, nobody else can move, right? The 4s, the 3s, and the 2s have all used their movement points, but the tanks still have 2 more movement points. And that would how you would show that. Or the tanks could decide we've gotten to the second line of the reserves, and now we can attack. So instead of moving, we can attack. But what the number is telling you, you have to have a movement allowance of 6 to attack in this increment. Here, with a 2+, everybody can attack. 4+ infantry and armor can attack. With a 6, it's only armor can attack. You see? So you're making the choice. But once you go down one of these paths, you can't jump. You can't jump columns. You can only go down towards the bottom.
Yeah, and follow what's connected.
Right, you have to go to what's connected. So what you're going to see in this sequence is it's going to open up with a set piece attack. So basically, all those guys that are next to the 84th Corps and the German Second Para are going to launch. This is a big. If you don't know anything about Cobra, they brought the 4-engine bombers in, and there was tons of artillery, and they just blasted the hell out of the place, and it was reasonably successful. But they did make the big breakthrough, and that's the breakout. Is going to happen due to Cobra, and it's going to start with this movement increment, which is an attack. Then you would have 2 choice. Now, once those 2 attacks are over, it's going to show 2 combats. You would have 2 choices. If there's nobody in front of you, you can just move like hell, and you make this flip to this side. So you can just move a lot, right? You can't attack, but you're going to burn a lot of movement points zooming around. Or you could move less, or you can attack again. But once you've gone down this path, you can only have your tanks move one more time or have your tanks tack up one more time, you see? So it just depends on which path you go down. And in this particular example, what I did was I went here, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to show you the benefits of this versus, and then where we're going to be picking up after the vlog is there'll be a choice on how to do what's going to happen in this increment here. We're down this path in the way I set this thing up, and so and so. So this is the thing that runs the game. So every time there's an activation, HQ activates, you turn on units, and then you decide how the tempo and the order in which you want movement and combat and movement or whatever it is. You have these choices, and you will find that this particular one, the most commonly used columns tend to be this one or this one, but sometimes like when you're doing the pursuit, these 2 come in very big also. And anything to do with crossing a big river operation or maneuver is going to be on this one. So this is how you get across the Rhine, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But like I said, mostly it's going to be, armor breakthrough, set piece battles, or combined armed offensive. Okay, so there you have it. So then what I would ask you to do is, why don't you kick up the vlog and hit the first, just start to zoom through it, and I'll describe what's happening.
I'm going to open it again because I think that...
whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
And if we have to resynchronize or whatever.
And then I would, now that I've done this, I would right-click on on my name and synchronize for each of you.
Thank you.
But now I'm starting from the original vlog, and I will start going through it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna have a quick look at the log. So it shows that the third USHU activates,
Yep.
which is what you were showing,
Yep.
and then you commit the heir to the hex 1110.
Yes. And this air, by the way, is the heavy bomber air. And it only you have two heavy bomber attacks in the games. This is one of two. And after this attack, this bomber is never used again. You do have two tactical air units. We'll talk about that later. But right now, this is the only bombers you get.
And then you show the units that you're activating by placing chits on them. So all of them are within range of the 6 HQ.
Correct. And
I have a
you'll
bit.
see I was moving the French forward for you to get you in the lead there.
That's very nice. I appreciate it. And yeah, I think and that's it. So this is all of the activation, and here you decide to go to a moving increment in the set piece attack first step.
And it's going to flip over, and I think the next thing I'll flip that N to an A, I think.
Yeah, to an attack increment. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it at that time that you're using the die rolls?
Yeah. So let me tell you what the die rolls were, because I did. So why don't you bring up the I don't know if the vlog will the vlog let you bring something up without screwing up the vlog or not?
Nope.
Okay, so then I will have to describe this, and then eventually, right after we get to this last increment, we'll bring up the CRT and I'll explain it. But what happened was in the first combat, which is going to be the 11, the guys on the far left, the 7th and the 2 armored divisions against the 84th, where the Cobra attack on 1110 is going to have the 4 guys that are just north of it, and it's going to have the French armor in it. And the reason I included the French armor was this way: when you defeat the 84th, they'll be able to pursue. You'll see that in a second. Now, what happened in the die rolls is both the Allies and the Germans passed their morale checks, but here's how morale was calculated. So the Germans, let's look at the Germans. They have a morale of 4, right? And when you're and there's a chart, which I'm just going to walk you through, but we'll look at it at some point. Because you're in rough terrain, your morale is increased by 1. So its morale goes from 4 to 5. But the bomber is going to reduce its morale by 2. So it's going to go from 5 to 3. So the morale of the 84th is a 3. Got that?
Got it.
Now, the lead unit for the Allies is going to be, I think it's one of those 2 armor units with a 5. But when you attack in a set piece battle into rough, the attacker's morale is reduced by 1. So it's really a 4. That's the only adjudication to the morale of the Allies. And both Fred and Mark rolled a 3. So the 84th passed its morale, and the Allies passed its morale, which means that on Matrix, you had successful attack, successful defense, which equates into what I call I
can show the Matrix, actually.
Oh, good. So if you look at, I'm going to use my little, so attacker, I can affect it here. Hang on a second. Fred, run your, go to, so we're using the top half of the table, which is the dark stuff. The bottom stuff is the mobile. So, and this, by the way, this really cool CRT really handles everything. So this is the only chart you have in the game for all combat. So Fred, go down from the upper left of the chart. You see it says attack, HQ support, add 3. Just put the little, so show the little radar thing. We're going to go down that path.
I cannot highlight when I'm in.
So anyway, for anybody who can see it, HQ support adds 3. Yeah. Then it says morale modifiers. I have to look at my own chart because I can't read on the screen. But
that's what you said. So that's the terrain effect charts.
Terrain effect. So our 5 became a 4. And then
so you have -1 +1 for the -1 for the attacker, +1 for the defender.
Yeah. And so because the attacker succeeded, it says morale die roll less than or equal to morale. That gets you into that top of the diamond box for the attacker. So that's standoff.
Because we have a successful attack, successful defense. Yeah.
Now, Mark's die roll was also successful, so it was a successful defense, and so you cross the successful defense with a successful attack, and you end up in that standoff column on the upper part, right? Then it says, and this is where combat odds comes in, and these odds, by the way, are over 2-1. So at 2-1 odds, the attacker loses one hit, and as it was, the allies rolled I'm looking at the die rolls here on my pad. You rolled a 3, Fred, which was you took one hit from the attack, right?
Yeah.
But the terrain effects of attacking the rough terrain increased your hits to 2. It's plus 1 hit from the terrain effects chart. But because of the 2-1 odds, you went down 1, so you took 1 hit. Okay. Now Mark's situation was he rolled a 4, by the way, so he took 2 hits from his die roll. That was the 4. You got a 2-hit die roll, Mark. But because of the terrain, your 2 hits became 1 hit, right? Because the terrain is benefiting you. However, because of the 2-1 odds, it goes up 1, so you took 2 hits. So now, Fred, advance the V log, and you'll see what happens from the 2 hits.
Yep. I'm gonna close this.
Yeah, who's that?
We're back to that. And so you flipped it.
Keep the 1 hit flipping. Keep going.
Yeah.
And then I had to go look for there. He's a cadre. So you go from full strength to half strength to cadre, and because and it's in the table here, because the defender must retreat if the attacker relieved modified morale, which was a 4, is greater than the
4 to
defender.
3.
Exactly. You must retreat. And you don't get to reduce your hits by 1, because only when it's may retreat you get to reduce. When you do it voluntarily, you can lose a hit. But this is not a voluntary withdrawal. And I retreated him. And note, I can retreat through the because there's a friendly unit there. I can retreat through that space back over to 1311.
Because your path was from here to here to
correct.
here.
And everybody has to retreat 2 hexes. Except that the allies can retreat, armor units can retreat 1 other hex.
And I had to retreat. Why? Sorry, can you repeat?
Oh, you had to retreat because Fred's morale, final morale was a 4. Your final morale was a 3, and because his morale exceeded yours, you had to retreat. If his morale was equal to or less than, then you would be up to you to retreat. You would have lost a hit, so it would have been voluntary. But you got beat. Okay. You got smacked up pretty.
Got
good.
it. Okay. I'm good.
So now, Fred, advance the V log. So the bomber's gone.
The bomber, yeah.
And I took the activation markers off just so you could see them. You know who's going to advance now. Yeah. So those are the units that were in the attack. Keep going. Now you're going to see. Okay. So the armor units go 2 hexes. Infantry units only go 1 hex on an advance after combat. The 7th and the 9th.
And
keep going.
And you're taking the step loss as we go, just for people to.
Yeah. I did it afterwards. Yeah, and the lead unit had to take the step loss. And there you go.
Yeah.
So that was Cobra, and I think I cleaned it up. There's another activation marker. So now there it is. So now what we have is we're going to be doing the second attack. Let me describe this one. So now this attack is against the second paras. You've got, I think the lead unit. Yeah, thank you. The lead unit is going to be one of those infantry corps or the armor unit. I don't remember. We'll see in a second who takes the loss. But in this die roll, Fred unfortunately rolled a 6 on his morale die roll. So there's almost no time that rolling a 6 is going to be good. And both Mark and Fred rolled a 2. So they're each only taking 1 hit as a baseline, 1 hit. But Mark rolled a 5. However, these para boys are tough. There's no air support. So basically, the way this works is Mark's 5 became 1 for the rough terrain, became a 6, and he rolled a 5. So Mark's going to pass his morale check. You can't fail it, basically.
Yeah.
He's going to pass his morale check. But Fred, by you rolling a 6, and your morale was a 3 because it was a 4 minus 1 for the terrain. So you failed, and so that put this combat into
ripples
attack versus a successful defense.
Successful defense.
You see? So here, it says defender may retreat, and you'll see that I chose to do the retreat because you got armor units flowing around you, and the goal here is the Germans need to get the hell out of Dodge, so the Germans will retreat. But because of that, they're going to lose a hit because this is voluntary. So attacker, the odds were actually the odds were 2-1 on this battle, so there was no additional hits inflicted. And let's see, attacker, he attacked. So Fred took 1 hit, or I think it was 1 hit, and the defender.
Actually, it was 3-1. Or do you have?
So then you actually took an extra hit for that. You'll see when you roll forward. I did it correctly, and the terrain had a plus-minus effect also on the attrition. So let's see what happened. Go ahead, Fred. Advance it. So I think there's the hit on the.
You take power. 1 step loss,
and he full back 2 hexes.
Yeah, so then it retreated here in 1411. Then you remove the activation.
The French ran through, advanced.
Yeah,
there's
up to
1211 on the armor unit. That was the lead unit apparently. And let's see what else I did. I think I applied.
And I think that's it. Yeah, and then you move into the attack increment.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I don't 9. It was. I don't know that.
So that means that you didn't activate this one in the end.
Oh no, I keep going. I think I moved them 1 hex forward somewhere. I caught up. I think I remember. It's not. Well, remember his problem is the increments didn't support him moving. We just had an attack increment. He can't move on an attacker increment, so he didn't move that. So you may move yet. Okay, so now if we open up, so now we're into this. So we're done with the attacker increment for the 2 combats. So then I chose to do a movement increment. Keep going.
Yeah.
There. I think I'm making room here for somebody.
Yeah, there. You're bringing from 1111.
And I sent the other guy the other way. So he's going to head to Brittany. See, that guy's going to head towards the Channel ports. Now, what I wanted to mention here, and they're going to attack Hex 1312, is the goal here is to try to mess up the 7th Army HQ, would cause it to retreat, try to hurt it. And there's an armor unit that's not that powerful sitting there, which is the 9th. Now, so this is one of those teachable moments. So I used a movement increment just to move those 2 armor units forward. And if you keep going, by the way, Fred, the 2 infantry corps are going to go forward also. So that was the point of using a movement increment. But because...
I have a question, Mark. Just do you check the distance to the HQ for inch increments, or it's just at the beginning?
No, once you're activated, you're done. Activation, and you can move out of supply if you want to.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll affect you later, but once you're activated, you're activated. You don't worry about supply lines until the admin phase is when all that happens, and that happens randomly. So now we're up to the part, and let me describe. So now we're up to we're now playing the game, Fred. So that's as far as I think the V-log goes. So your next increment down.
Oh yeah, you're moving to a movement increment here.
Yeah, but now it's your call whether you want to move or. And I know I actually launched it.
You launched an attack, yeah.
Yeah, I launched an attack. Although we can always back it up if we want to. So keep going.
Or it looks like you changed your mind actually.
I did that because I decided I was going to let you decide now.
Okay,
and I move everybody to the main map. But go back 1 because I want to be able to talk about the attack. Yeah. So this attack. So because one of the armor units. So to use a mobile battle, everybody all have to on the previous increment either moved into that location or advance into that location. Everybody. So because I moved 1 unit up, this becomes a set piece battle. This could have been conducted as a mobile battle. What did we see? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 versus... It might have been better as a mobile... Well, you wouldn't have had that extra armor unit. So we're going to run it as a set-piece battle, but this could have been a mobile battle if, in the previous increment, I went down another path and I attacked. But I didn't do that because I wanted to get that infantry out of the way and forward. But... maybe that's the best move. Who knows? But anyway, we're going to do a battle now. Now you'll be rolling real dice. So in this increment, Fred, if you want to attack, which you do, the 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got a 12 versus a 3, which is 4-1 odds. So you got plenty of odds here. But now you both need to roll the dice. And this is open terrain now.
Wait a minute. I'm back to the. I'm going back to not this. I'm going back to. Where was I? To this. So here I'm going to do an attack increment on that step.
Yes, that's correct.
And I can attack with any unit that is a 6. A 6.
Yeah, only armor units.
And that's all of my armored units. So those 4 units here are going to attack this hex that has just the 9th Panzer Division here. Okay.
Correct.
So I roll my dice.
Use the 4th US as the lead unit, which with a morale of 5.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put it in front. So
yeah, that's fine.
So it's clear that.
Well, actually, if you're really gutsy, you should put the French unit up front if you were being gutsy. But okay, that's your call.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the designer did here, but the morale for the French unit is pretty bad.
Well, remember the reason you would pick the French, not the Americans, is that whoever takes a loss is going to be the lead unit. So I understand. You don't want those French guys to get hurt.
Yeah.
Now the question
they got a free Paris.
You have 1 TAC air unit available for this entire turn, but there's going to be another attack increment, so you may not want to use the air power. This looks like a pretty good attack all by itself.
Yeah. Now, will I be able to attack on the next one, or?
No. Remember, this is we're only on the first of 2 activations.
Oh yeah, so I should definitely not use it. I think a 3-to-1 ratio is good.
But because I just was going to break, so now I just realized you're with an HQ, so the strength you always when you're stacked with an HQ, you get a +3 to your strength. It's on the CRT there. So it's actually 2-to-1 auto attack because it's 3 plus it's
so I'm 2-to-1.
Yeah, 2-to-1. So both of you guys should roll dice. We got to see what you guys roll.
So wait a minute. If we're at a 2-to-1 before you roll dice, I think I would commit the air power of -1, -2.
Okay, then do it.
Good. Yeah, so I would put it here. So it's going to be -1 to Mark's morale and -2 to his attack strength.
Right, but also if you see that little, it's very hard to see. You see that little +1? No, actually, this -2 is to him. No, it's minus. It's minus. It is -1, but there's also a +1 to you because you're getting benefit of a. Oh wait a minute. Let me just actually give me 1 second. I think that's only in a mobile. It's only in a mobile battle. It's not a mobile battle. Hang on.
What's a -2 for?
Let me just get the marker. I mean, I'm going to describe what the marker is. I gotta get the picture so I don't say this incorrectly. Okay. So the number to the left is always the effect on German morale. So the -1 is hurting in a set piece battle. The thing to it's set piece battle, mobile battle, just so you know what the 2 split is. So it's a -1 to you, Mark. So your 4 becomes a 3 in this situation. If it was a mobile battle, which this is not, then it would be a -2 to the Germans and a +1 to the Allies in a mobile tank battle with airplanes. So it's a vicious thing in a mobile battle to have air.
And how do I make it a mobile battle?
So the way this could have been a mobile battle, which I sort of took out of your hands, is if everybody entered the space next to the attacker, didn't start there or advance there, then you have to have a mobile battle if you're in like clear terrain. There's 3 conditions in the rules, but we're about to have a lot of those, so don't worry about it. I'll let you know.
Okay, so maybe in that case, it's probably better if I actually use this one.
Yeah, no. You want to use the heavy bombers again? I would save that. That one you only get to 1 more of those for the game, so I wouldn't use that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in for the future. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, getting the 8th Air Force to help you is a very tough thing to do.
So
let's just roll this straight. Just roll the dice. It'll be a good. It's fine.
We're both gonna roll. Right?
Yeah. Okay. You got to roll both dice. So let me know.
Morale check at 2, which is nice.
Oh shit! I rolled. It looks like I rolled.
Oh, that's nice.
3 stuff.
Yeah. Wait, what were the? I can't. Fred, what were your 2 numbers?
So I rolled a 2. So my first is so I rolled a 2 for the white, so my morale check passed, and then I rolled a 3 for the damage result. Yeah.
Oh, I rolled a 6 for morale, if I'm reading this right. And do I have to roll again?
No.
You rolled a 3 for damage.
So he got one hit. Okay, so here's what happens
Oh,
on
there
that
we
battle.
go. Got it.
So,
Okay.
so this was a successful attack against a failed defense, which is
So
this
it's
is
a
a must
retreat.
retreat situation.
Yeah.
Now the odds were
2-1.
so you each start with a base of one hit. The terrain is clear, so there's no. I don't believe there's any effect for anything in clear terrain. Yeah, clear terrain's all 0. So we read down. It says attacker greater than 2-1 odds. So you, Fred, take no hits because you had more odds and you hit him badly. He failed as a defense. So Fred takes 4 hits. However, the defender gets 1 more hit. So you took 2 hits. So the way this works is the 9th armor is flipped and has a cadre on it.
Okay, what? It won't let me. I wonder.
So I can reduce it for
Reduce
you.
step. I got it. Reduce step.
Yeah, reduce it, and then you have to reduce it again. If you reduce it one more time, it'll get a cadre label. There you go. Now, Fred, at this point, you have to transfer all these guys onto the main map because you can't retreat. Otherwise, it'll get. So we're going to be done with this map after you. We're done with this map for the rest of the game now, and now we're here. So you have to retreat 2 spaces.
Mark, and I can retreat the HQ with it, right?
Oh yeah, the HQ this is the only time that you can't pick up an HQ in a retreat, but you can retreat with it. So you can pull the HQ, and like for instance, you would probably want to go to Alencon, which is hex 1513.
Yeah.
So it's Alençon. Alençon.
What's that?
To be sure. Yeah, I would say the pronunciation is Alençon.
Okay.
Oh, you're saying it correctly. Is that what the hell you're doing?
Yeah,
So here's the cool part. Now, Fred, you've got 4 armor units. The first space will be 1312, but then they all, even with zones of control, get to advance 1 more hex. So I will leave it to you to decide how you want those tanks arrayed. And you're still not done. You still got 1 more increment, I believe, to go. Let me get the.
So I can move in 132. So that's the base move I had to do for the advance after combat, and then I can move an extra 1.
Yes.
Is that it? Yeah. But that sounds. That seems risky to move.
Don't worry about it. But let me explain something. The one thing the only mistake the Allies can make in this game is being cautious, because you'll never beat him. These units are going to start pulling away very quickly, and you got to pocket them at Valet, or they're going to get away, and that's the last thing you want to have them do.
So do you think I should go up to 1412 here?
Yeah, but all the units don't have to go together, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
In other words, tell you what, move those guys back to 1312, right?
Yeah.
Move them. Okay, now just move 1 guy to 1412. I don't care which one. There you go. Now move that guy down to 1313. There you go. Now I would move 1 more unit in with the 4th US. So move the guy that's not reduced forward.
Yeah, that would be 7. Yeah.
Okay, good. That would be, I think, a good move.
Okay. So that sounds good.
Now if we go back to that big increment chart, you get each of these armor units is going to go to that increment chart. There you go. So now you go down. Now you'll note that there's no number there, so you can't attack. And a guy with a 6 gets 1 move. So you get 1 more movement point for each of these guys, and the cost of a zone of control.
But that means that it's +1 MP to a zone of control. But if I move from a ZOC to a ZOC, it's +2. So that would be 3 movement points. So I don't have them.
No, hang on. It's +1 to enter a ZOC, and then +2 to.
Oh yeah, so going from here to here would be 3 movement points plus 1 4. Yeah.
You only have 1 movement point, so you're not going to be able to do that. But the French guy.
This one could move here.
Wait,
and the French guy could move.
So, no, I would move the French guy more towards Le Mans. I go to 1314.
Yeah.
Swing him out. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, actually, now we have to look at supply. You don't want to get more than 6 away from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No,
1,
you want him to
2,
stay on 1, 3,
3,
1,
4,
3.
5, 6.
However, yeah, he's too far. He'll be out of supply. You don't
Yeah.
want that.
But if I put him here, he stays in supply.
3, 4. Yes, that's good. I like that. And then remember the 6 US, which is in hex 1011.
I can get to Rennes, I guess.
No, I would
Or
move him to 0911. You want to get one. You got to start grabbing
oh yeah,
these.
to get to Saint-Brieuc. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here and here.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got it. Because what's going to happen is if you can zoom down, let's just take a quick look at the bigger picture for a second. There you go. Oh, I'm sure. There we go. So you see, you've got those 2 ports at the end of Brittany. One is like Saint Nazaire, and the other one, I forget. It's right there. What are those 2? Where the German unit is, and the one that's red over at the end of Brittany.
Yeah. So this is Brest and Saint-Nazaire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
So
2 are really important.
the Allies need to capture those ports because down the road you're going to get a lot of logistics benefits for doing that. And if you don't do that, you obviously don't get the logistics benefits, which will slow you down when you don't want to be slowed down. Okay. Now, we have completed the entire activation, but we're not done. So what happens in the game is after if you go to the increments, after that all happens, there is reaction. So you get, and so if you see on the chart to the left, there's an RP track.
Yeah, 4 reaction points are available
he has
to
3
the
reaction
German.
points. Now, that's all the reaction points he has for the turn. So I want to be mindful. And you can do 2 things with reaction points. The first thing you can do is you can spend 3 to activate an HQ, in essence, do an entire activation like we just did for the Americans, right? However, I would not advise that. What I would advise is 1 reaction point allows you to activate 1 unit to do anything it wants to do, and this is the only way that you can move HQs. HQs can only move by reaction points. So by the way, Fred, flip the U.S. Third Army back to its other side. Its activation is done now. So, for instance, if you want to extend the Allied supply line, you're going to have to use reaction points to shift those HQ. That's your logistics. You got to move those guys forward, or you're just going to run out of, be out of supply. And on the same vein, Mark, you've got underneath that German guy the 7th Army HQ, which is a good HQ. So you might want to spend 1 reaction point and run that guy, through Paris and keep running, make him start to run back towards Germany.
Oh, okay.
All right. You can get overrun, and it's a good HQ. So you leave the armored cadre, but the general's run is what you should be doing.
Okay, so I get to spend a reaction point.
So you move 1 down on that supply track, the reaction track, and then take the HQ. You leave it on its unactivated side, and you move it 6 moving points.
Okay, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Yeah. So how much does it cost to cross a major river?
There's a bridge there. It's in the rules. There's a bridge.
Okay.
Paris connected. You might notice that there's a couple of bridges where you are at Notre Dame, Fred.
Yeah. So you could go to Paris East. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, the other choice you have here, Mark, and that's another decision. Okay. Do you want to shift the 5th Panzer Army, get that guy out of Dodge? But he's only got a range of 5. You probably want to, if you can, you might be able to keep him alive there, but that's up to you whether you want to pull back that HQ.
Well, would he be better off if I spent? Well, you can only move the HQ, right, with a point. So I don't want to have him by himself because
I think that's right. So and crossing the Seine is +1. So crossing that river is just +1. So it's 2, and you can get him back to the Somme from there, I think.
Yeah, but would I want to? Because then that would put my guys out of command.
Well, again, this is remember September. I mean, August and September, the Allies get from here all the way to to the Rhine.
So we're running like hell.
Yeah. So you got to figure out how you want to run. So you know what? For now, let's just say the point. You'll probably get
I
through.
want to. I think that. Yeah, I think I want to leave him. I mean, I'm a pretty. And maybe I don't have the right mindset for the Germans. I'm pretty aggressive, but I
Okay.
realize that I want to get as much out of here as I can because I'm not going to hold France. So,
Yeah,
but I think staying there with the Panzer division.
you
I'll
got it.
take my chances. I'm going to stay there.
Sounds good. Sounds excellent, actually. Okay. So now
So that will be the end of this
that
activation.
the first activation now entire. So we've now. And by the way, Fred, you see that there's a map. There's two buttons that start on this map, start on the close-up map. Just click on start on this map, and that'll get rid of those.
Yeah.
two
So
buttons.
okay, good. Yeah.
That goes away now. Okay, good. So now it's in the cup. It's the second Allied activation, and that will end July. So and one thing we didn't do we did something out of order, but it was okay. I didn't want to get into it. We'll catch up to commitment of supply, which we should have done already, but we'll do it later. That's not important. So Fred, it's your call. You got an activation point. You can activate the Dempsey's Second Army is probably look at hex 1409. What's in hex 1409?
So 1409, that's going to be here, and I've got the second British Army here, and the first Canadian.
Dempsey, right? Yeah. So the three HQs that the Allies have at the beginning are Dempsey's Second Army, and there's a nationality chart in the rules. So you have two choices. You can either now activate the Dempsey. You can use the First U.S. Army, or you can activate Patton again. But those are your choices, basically.
I'm going to activate the British.
Okay, so take Dempsey and flip him over to his activated side. I got to see him. Yeah. I have him over here. Let me just pull this over here.
And actually, while we're doing this, I'm just gonna take a quick pause from the Vassal and see if we have any question that were asked, because I couldn't look at the chat while I was doing this. So
Very
before we do the second activation, there is actually a lot of comments. But yeah. Oh, and before we do the second activation, so there's
another HQ, and you also have the Canadian HQ. I forgot that.
Yeah, there's a Canadian HQ, but I'm going to activate the British. Grayson is actually asking. He saw on BGG that there is a companion game, Russia 1944, that was supposed to be released in 2019. So that was a while ago. Is it still a thing, or?
So here's the thing. We were talking about this offline. So the developer of this game is a guy named Judd Vance, good friend of mine, and I told Judd, Judd ended up with a very serious medical situation, which I don't need to describe, but I told him that, to try to, I don't know if it's helping his morale, whatever. I said, I'm not going to do Russia 44 without you. So this one's up to Judd, but I'll do it if Judd wants to do it, but I'm not going to do it without Judd.
That makes sense.
That's a short answer. That's a short answer.
So Mike was mentioning the Rick Atkinson books on Amazon.
Nice.
And Eric, you're very welcome for the stream. Actually, having a lot of fun. And Pierre was, I think it's probably when we were playing out with the map. I think it's a really good. It's a really convenient thing. I think it's yeah.
And by the way, just so you know, what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to try to do this carefully. You'll see, I got the mini map here with all the pieces on it. So that's why I'm keeping I don't want to drop them on the floor, but that's how I'm keeping track of. It's easier for me to see the actual counters than it is to,
And actually, there is an interesting question from Alistair, who's asking if you can play the original Victory Game version with the components from the Compass game.
I would offer that. The answer is yes, as long as you're okay with. You might have to take a couple of blank, and by the way, there are blank counters in the original. Take some of the blank counters from the original. You might need the air power. There's a few extra. The tactical air is better defined, and I think I handle out of supply a little bit differently. So the answer is
there's some different.
Yes, be cheap. but just know that you might have to make like 6 or 7 counters just to give yourself some pieces for the things that aren't in that version. That's all. But that's not a big deal to me. I do. That's how I make new games, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So that's fine. Someone was shocked by the S&M comment, so that's
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. It's a family-friendly stream, so it's
That's
completely
right.
fine.
Yeah, well, remember, S&M stands for a set piece in mobile. That's fun.
Yeah, people commenting about the fact that I'm smoking. That's okay. And yeah, Eric, I gave you a close-up of the board, so I think that's really cool.
It is cool.
Oh yeah, a very
super nice.
a very astute comment from Alexandre. I should be called Mark Serval for the stream, so we have the triple feature that will
There you go.
All marks all the time.
Okay, so let me just so Fred has decided, just to keep this. I don't know how long the stream's going to go. So the Dempsey's HQ is better than the second British is a bigger HQ than the Canadian. So Fred, you get to activate 4 armor and 5 infantry with Dempsey, right? So flip him up. Okay, so now just so you know, the British can do the following. They can command up to one maximum 1 U.S. unit. British units, Canadian units, and Polish units. They cannot. Only the French HQ and the U.S. HQ can control French units, but the British. So you can use one of the American Corps if they're available. You can use an American Corps, one of them, if you want to.
Okay, so I'm gonna activate this armor division. I'm gonna activate.
So take those. If you look in the markers, there are activation markers that you can just dump on top so we can see it.
I think I can just highlight them in red. If I
right. So what's in that space? You've got the. So you're going to activate the 6 British, the Guards British.
Yeah.
And what else in that? So you do activate the whole X?
Yeah, I'm activating the whole X.
And by the way, just so you were talking about Mocker Garden, so in Hex 1510 is the 30th British Corps, which is the famous corps that fights up its way up to Arnhem. So that's the level of this game. The 30th British Corps is the one that will eventually do Market Garden.
Okay,
where is that? You said that.
How many?
It's in Hex 1510, Mark. You're going to have to mouse over it to see it, pop up the count. It's the stack because we want.
I got it. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
What do I have here? I've got more armor here. Wait a minute. I activated 2 armor. Actually, I'm not gonna activate the 11th. Because I can only activate 4 armor with this HQ.
Give me 1 second. I'm here, but anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I have 1 here, and I'm gonna activate the 3 from that stack here. So I'm gonna activate the 7th British, the 4th Canadian, and the 1st Polish. So that's gonna be my 4. That's gonna be my 4. My form armed division. Now I can activate 5 infantry. I already activated 2. I'm gonna activate a 3rd one. And a 4th one. And what I'm thinking is, I can activate 1 American one, right?
That is correct. But you can't go beyond the limit of 5. But yes, you can activate.
Yeah, and that's my 5th one is gonna be the 5th US, and have a reason for that. And okay, good.
Now let me just be clear. So I'm guessing you're going to hit this Hex 1511.
I'm thinking about attacking this one.
Yes, that's the Hex I'm talking about,
and
that is important. Because
and this one.
If you can get through there and behind, you could pocket the. You could pocket like 3 or 4 different units by doing that.
Yeah.
Because you can cut them off. This is the Falais. This is Falais. We're trying to do the Falais pocket.
5, 8, 12. That's a pretty big stack. And I wanted just to move those 2 units.
If I could, just as you all know, I'm a historian. So if Mark, by the way, Mark made the better move, I want to be clear, but what Mark could have done with his reaction points, remember when the 7th Army was sitting in hex 1513.
Yeah.
He could have spent 3 reaction points, activated the 7th Army HQ, and he could have launched a counterattack, like where the 17th SS is, trying to cut off, go west, which was the Mortain offensive, which failed. So,
Yeah.
so just to put this in historical context, you could do the Hitler thing, which failed. Mark did the smarter thing; he moved, but
we'll
the
move
game
back.
will
Yeah.
let you do, the game lets you all these paths are available in the game. It's just what you choose to do, obviously.
So I'm gonna do an attack increment first.
So go show the chart, and that's going to be the main set piece battle one, which is free at this point in the game. This is almost always what's going to get used.
So I'm gonna use the attack increment here,
Yes.
and the first attack that I'm gonna do, and that's gonna be the only attack of this increment, is here.
Yeah. Now this is now after this, depending on where the armor goes, you save the air power. Getting a mobile battle, if you can break this guy back, then the mobile battle stuff may really work for you. So we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, and I have so wait a minute. So he's at so we're at set piece. So he's at 912, and I attack at 16, 20, 28, 32, 36, 40. So I'm at 3-1. I think that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty good. And
I assume the lead unit is like the British Guard. One of the 4 units is the Canadians.
Yeah,
4.
I'm looking at it right now, and I think I'm gonna have the 2nd Canadian as the lead unit.
And that, by the way, historically is who did lead this attack.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll dice.
And Mark has to roll dice.
And oh, that's bad. Oh,
what did you get there, Freddie?
I rolled a 5 and a 1.
Well, I rolled a 5 and a 3, so.
Yeah, but for you 5 is fine because you have a 5 moral.
Oh yeah, I passed.
Right. Yeah, mine is a
4.
Okay,
so this is going to be this is a great example of how this battle actually really went, because it was a failed attack
and
versus
a
successful defense as a repulse. The odds were
3-1.
3-1. So Fred, you're going to take 2 hits because you add a hit for having too many guys.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah.
I'm gonna get copyright striked, but that's fine.
Yep, but bye. She realized that I was still. I've told my wife, leave. She's a wonderful woman, but I've explained to her, I think at least 10 times, that I'm doing this from 11 to 1, and I keep getting called. It doesn't matter.
So the first hit has to be.
The Canadians have to take the first hit.
So they're
and then you can have anybody else in the attack take the hit. I would take it on. Let me see. What does the reinforcement schedule look like? I would probably take it as an infantry hit, but
on the first British, I think.
Okay, the first British take the hit. Okay, now Mark is taking 2 hits. He's taking 3 hits actually, because the defender, the odds were 2 to 1, were greater than 2. It was a lot of guys still, and he didn't roll that well. What did you roll, Mark?
I rolled a 3 for a lot.
Oh no, that's only 2 hits. I'm sorry, it's only 1 hit plus 1. So Mark's going to take 2 hits. However, Mark, because
you can absorb 1 by retreating.
You can retreat. You can take it 1 hit and you can retreat, which you might want to do.
Okay, now do I have to all retreat to the same hex?
The
reason I ask is because
I don't think so. I don't think the answer is yes, but let me take a quick look.
So I have to retreat 2 hexes anyways, right?
You have to retreat 2 hexes. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Okay,
you have to retreat as a stack. You have to remain as a stack throughout the retreat.
Right.
Now, German armor, by the way. So German armor can retreat 3 spaces. All the units can retreat 2 or 3. German armor stack with you can retreat 3 spaces because it's all armor. Armor can go back 3.
So you can you could actually stack up.
You can go back 3 and land in with the 5th Panzer. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. You can go back there and have a. And what's the stacking limit?
It's 4 units, but no more than 2 infantry corps.
Okay.
All right. Well,
and HQs don't count.
Sure.
I think Yeah, well, I was thinking of either retreat to Rouen or to put the HQ. I guess with the HQ would be smarter. There,
Yeah,
do that.
Now, because he retreated, you
I can
get to
advance.
advance, and you can advance.
But I have to still take a loss, right?
Yeah, you got
Oh,
Yeah,
to.
oh,
It
does
has to
he?
be from. It has to be from one of the fives because you use the five for your defense.
for your
Right.
defense.
So it really doesn't matter which one, right?
It doesn't matter as long as it's a five.
There you
There
go.
you go. And now, Fred, you get to advance. All your infantry can go up one hex that was in the attack, and the armor can go two.
Okay, so the armor is gonna go here.
Yep.
The infantry is gonna go here. This one is gonna go here.
Right.
Now that guy can go. Now, what's interesting? That guy can go one. There you go. There's my boy. There you're talking.
Up, up, and
I
guess
I would leave somebody.
well, the thing is, I'm thinking about leaving this here, so I'm thinking I can move the Polish up here,
You can.
and then I have a supply line that is open through
You
here.
do.
Hopefully,
You
yeah.
do.
Okay, so that's the. Oh, wait a minute. This is the wrong one. So this one is gonna stay back, and this one is gonna move here. Yeah, that shall be it. Yes. So that was my first increment.
That's just the first increment. You're not done yet.
Yeah, I'm not done
Now
yet.
here's the important. So let me just explain a rule, which is what you're going to want to do, because the guards British and the first Polish advanced into a hex that's adjacent to a clear terrain hex. Oh, is Alakan under there? Oh, okay. That's not a clear terrain hex because of Alakan. But you could attack the SS guys in a mobile battle, but they're pretty tough.
This is clear, but the problem is that they are really, really tough.
No. But remember something. The SS is tough, but the 74th and the 2nd are only ones in mobile combat. They suck. It's a 1-to-1 battle, but I think you could attack directly into the 2nd SS with those guys in a mobile battle.
Yeah, wait a minute, because this is also a target for me in mobile battle. This and this are two potential targets.
I can't see the other one, but okay, I agree.
So the one just south of Le Havre.
It's the 86, the first
SS,
and the
that's fine. Yeah, remember you can have two battles. You don't have to have just one. When you have, so go back to the increment chart. This is important.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about that, you would have to go straight down to the 4+. And by the way, in the 4+, in the 4+, you can have a mobile battle with infantry. It's still a mobile battle. You get to add in the infantry also, though they're not as good at mobile. They still have some ability.
I think I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna go for so that's gonna be does it count as an attack increment or a move increment?
It's an attack increment. Yeah, you can only attack if you're doing that.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this and do then a mobile battle. And let me count here. So if I attack this, that's really.
Can you highlight what? Oh, just the little red dot thing.
Yeah. So just remember hex 1610. Where are you making this attack, Fred? Just put.
Yeah, that's what I'm counting right now. So because if I go here, the strength.
You got serious SS boys there. That space is well held.
Yeah, and the other one is the same. It's 10 or 10. So
let him do it, Mark.
Look at the cadre. Look at the cadre unit down at. Well, that would be a set piece battle. But however, remember, this is the place where you can throw in that airplane in a mobile battle. It gets you a lot of benefits.
Now, couldn't he do a mobile with the Polish against that cadre?
No, because the answer is only.
It's not a 6.
Yeah, right. No, it's not clear terrain. It's in a city.
How do you say it? Alancon? How do you say that? Alençon. It's sitting in Alençon, which has got defensive benefits.
Yeah,
and it's also it's based and I'm sorry, I want to ask, is the 4+ has to be that's their morale or their movement to be able to attack?
So 4 is their morale, the red, the blue, the yellow.
The yellow is always the morale. That's the morale in all cases. Right. The second number is their movement, and then the two numbers that are stacked are their combat power.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna do 1-to-1 attack here, and I'm gonna
I would
Yeah,
do
no
that.
worries.
That's the attack I would take.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. So where's my counter? My this one. This is the one I want to use because I've got +1 and that's -2 to him.
Yeah. That's the one you want to use. That's the tactical air now.
Yeah,
Sorry
So,
about
and the
that.
+1
here's
is
the
gonna be.
difference.
Is it going to be to my
Sorry. So let
morale
me.
or to
Can
my?
I be? I just want to be clear. What I'm saying is, I don't think I'm being clear. Is where it says like 4+, right? Where he's at now.
Yes.
That means for him to use that unit, is that the
Anybody with a movement allowance of 4 or 6,
that,
any
Yeah,
infantry corps or armor unit can
got
be
it.
used.
Got
yeah.
it.
So the ones in
Okay,
the
that's what I thought.
the figure
So
in the middle.
couldn't he do, just as an example, and then I'll shut up, is can the Polish couldn't they do a mobile against that cadre or no, because it's not
No,
No,
clear?
because it's
because
not
it's in
a clear
Alençon.
green hex.
Got ya. Okay.
It has
Yeah,
to be
Oh,
open.
it's
It has
okay.
to be a clear hex. Now, if it was a clear hex, what you're saying is true.
Okay, got it.
But because it's now in the rules, it's again, if you make a guy retreat, if that guy had retreated to Alençon based on the previous increment, then you don't get the city defense like you chased him into the city. But because that guy's been there already, he's established himself in Alençon, so he's defended in a city now.
Okay, got it.
But that's a nuance that's not the case here.
Right.
So
yeah.
so what do you got, Fred? You've got
So it's a 1-to-1.
no, let's say 4.
So
Wait,
that's
hang
a
on.
10.
4
That's a 10 for
and
the
6. 4
Germans.
and 6 is 7. Right. 4 and 6 is 7 versus 4. Oh yeah, it's 1-to-1. You're right. However, and what are you gonna do? You could use the
My
30th British or you could use the 30th British, let's say. So there are 4.
Yeah,
they become
that's the one I'm gonna
5,
use.
and the Germans become a
2.
2.
Where's he attacking at?
So I'm attacking just here,
Here, okay.
and I'm using that air power support.
And it's
So
a
that puts you
mobile.
at -2 for your
All
morale,
right.
and I have
So
+1.
okay, so roll the dice. So you have a morale of 2, and what did you get, Fred? I can't see it.
So I passed my morale check. I rolled a 4, and then I
So what
rolled a
was the
2
second one?
for. Yeah.
I got
What
a
was the
2.
second
I
die?
rolled really well too. So, but
Oh, you managed. Yeah, you passed your. Oh, that's
Wait.
beautiful.
It was 2. What were the 2 die rolls? What were the color die for you, Fred, and for Mark? I
So
can't.
4 and 2 for 4 for white and 2 for green, and for Mark it was 2 and 1.
Okay, so basically, this went well for. Okay, so now the reason I wanted to get into. So now we're looking at this. Bring up the combat results table. Now we're
So it's a
coming from the
standoff.
bottom of the table up now because we're in
Oh
the mobile.
yeah.
We're going the other way. See, mobile combat, we're going up.
So
So this
successful
is
attack.
a successful attack versus. So this is another standoff. However, and the odds were 1-to-1. So for the attacker, there's no additional hits. So Fred, you took 1 hit on the 30th British.
Yeah.
Then the defender at greater, the odds were 1-to-1, so no additional hits. And here's where the but comes in. So Mark, you have to take a loss on the second SS. Takes a hit.
okay.
Oh, but now you have the retreat issue.
Yeah. But now because of the Fred had the better morale because you were only at 2, you are in a situation where you must retreat, and when you cannot retreat,
Okay.
but it's okay. Mistake. A retreating cannot cross by. A retreating is must. If a retreating unit have parameters can retreat, they do not retreat at all. And they take. So you take an additional step loss because you could not retreat. Mark, that's the net effect of all of that.
Does that have to be on the second SS?
No, it could be in any unit there in the space.
Let's see. So, damn. How about the 74th Infantry?
Okay.
I think. Let me get that up here. Where is he? There he is.
Yeah, so flip him over, and that's the end of that increment. We're not done yet, though.
Yeah.
Now, Fred, go back to that increment chart.
Yep.
Let's look at that. So now you have to go down to the next box. Now, your choices here are what is it? Isn't that like a one box? Yeah, so you either can make all your armor units can move one space, or you can attack again. Now, this one would have to be a set piece battle. Now it's not a mobile battle.
Yeah, and that's going to be only my armored unit that can attack.
Only your
Um,
armor units can attack. But let me see, what would it be?
Well, you'd have
Well,
eight.
he's got that thing. Well, remember the powers are only one because they're a cadre.
Right.
He's only got
One,
one, two,
6.
6. Oh yeah,
Right.
there's 2 armor units there. So he's a 6 versus you're still an 8, Fred. So it's 1-to-1 odds still.
on which one?
So
If I
if the
attack the
first
same stack?
yeah, so if the guard's British and the first Polish, they have a combined strength of 8 set piece battle, and the guard's British is a morale of 4. So if they were the lead unit, and then on his side, because the cadre units only have a strength of 1
Okay.
total,
Oh, so he's
so
really at 6. Yeah.
so you
So I
still
would still
have
be at 1-1.
right. So that you just have to not blow the die roll, but you're a 4 versus his 4. So it's morale wise, I would smack him. You got
Yeah,
a lot more replacements than he does.
I guess I need to be aggressive here.
Yeah, this is
So yeah, I will do that. Yeah, I will do the 1-1 here, and hope for the best.
all right. But the key part of this thing is pass your morale checks. Roll the dice, boys.
And I succeeded my morale
I
check,
failed.
and he failed. So that's
There we
really
go.
good.
But I rolled a
Okay.
1 for losses. I don't know. That's better
All
And
for
right.
me.
I rolled a 3 for losses. Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
we'll see how this all. Oh, you rolled a 3 for losses, Fred. You rolled a 6.
yeah.
No,
No,
he
I
rolled
rolled
a 3.
my 3.
Oh, that's only one. Remember, 1, 2, or 3 is one loss. 4 or 5
Yeah.
is 2. 6 is so you both took one loss.
All right.
So
So
this is
failed
a successful
defense.
attack versus a failed defense, which is this is another must retreat situation,
Yeah.
and was 1-to-1 odds. So there's no additional hits for. Oh, sorry, I'm looking in the wrong place. There's no minuses or additions to the losses. So you're each going to take one loss. So the guard's British, and whoever you use for the 4 defense takes a hit. And then because you can't retreat again,
I got to
you
take
take
another
another hit.
loss. Okay, so this time, well, I have to reduce, and they're identical, right? Yeah, so.
Well, the only problem is the guy who's already reduced becomes cadre. That's the
Right,
key.
no, so I'm going to do this. I'll reduce the, whatever that was, the 9th, or,
Okay.
no,
So
whatever
now,
that is. But I'm going to kill the infantry division.
okay.
Because I want to keep well, let's see if I can manage my stack here. Let's see. Okay, wait, why can't I do this? 1, 2, okay. There we go. So this
Not
is
looking
going
great,
to
Mark.
eliminate unit. Well, I'm the Germans. It's not supposed to look great right now.
Yeah, this is the.
I actually wish you would have just let him attack my 12th SS. That would have been nice for me.
Yeah, well, I don't think that was even he thought that was a bad idea.
Good. I know. It was okay. All right.
Great. And I think that was the last step of my
Yeah, so
increment
that is
here.
the end of the July turn, and now we're gonna just for
Oh,
Charlie Grin.
Can't Mark use his reaction points now?
Yes, but yes, he can use his reaction points, but he's only got 2, so he can't activate an HQ. But he can make an HQ run away if he wants to, or he can activate one unit that's in. So he could activate that cadre unit in 1-5-1-3 and have him run back.
Yeah, because this one is going to be destroyed if not. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I want to. Let's do that. He's not doing me any good sitting there. So I'll go to the track. Let's see here. Oh wait, that's not it. Where's the track?
And that's how many reaction points to activate a unit?
It's 1, right? It's 1 reaction point, right, Mark?
What's that? Yes, 1 reaction point to move a unit or HQ. Correct.
Right. And then I can move him 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, remember the first hex is going to
Oh.
cost you more to leave the zone of
Oh,
control.
because
Yeah,
I'm
because you're
leaving
leaving a
Zoc, so
Zoc,
it'd
so
be
that's gonna be
3.
+2. So 3 for the first
3.
move if you move here,
That you can get more
or
credit. Isn't that where you are? Right, you're in sharp, right?
What's
yeah. So
that?
if you go in charts, you could be. This is where I'm
Yeah,
streaming from. So
that's where
you
I'm
could.
going. Oh, there, I went to visit Fred. There we
That's very
go.
nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
nice.
All right, now there's more reaction stuff's going to take place. I just want to give everybody, but that's not going to change the results. So in this particular running through, it's very hard to do better. You lost 1 infantry corps eliminated. Wasn't that right?
I
Mark?
did. I eliminated it. Yeah.
And you
Hopefully.
have, and how many? Okay, so let's see what we got here. So we've got 1, 2. Gotta make that smaller, but so how many guys? How many guys are in hex 1, 4, 1, 1, and what types are they? I can't really see
I
that
have
here.
three guys. Right.
Yeah.
1, 4, 1. I have 3 guys.
Well, but which ones
Two
are
arm,
armor? Which ones are infantry?
two armor, and then the paratroop. 2 of them are armor.
1 infantry, and then what's in hex? Let me see what's in here, and what's in hex 1, 3? The one where the 17th SS is. What's in that space?
That's so 2 in parlance of the rules is 2 armor and 1 infantry.
Okay, and you lost 1 infantry eliminated, right?
I eliminated the infantry division
Okay.
in 14, whatever.
Okay, so the score at the end of this is going to be 8 to Okay, so this was, just so do you know, this ultimately ended up being a Allied victory because 12 points were scored, 10 is a victory. So
okay.
So Fallet went the Allies' way this time, but just to put that in.
Right.
So that's just,
and that would end the scenario, right?
That would end just the 1-turn solitaire scenario, if you want to look at it that way. So you could play this. One of the nice things about this scenario is you could literally play it, just you could practice the opening of the game a bunch of times to see what's the best way to do all this or how you want to think about it. So it's a good learning piece. Now,
that's cool.
Now, so now we're done with all the initiative stuff. Now there's 3 more phases. Well, really 2. So German final reaction phase. The German player can spend up to 3 available reaction points. So, and you're going to get to spend points in a second, Fred. So you can still spend 1 more point if you want to, and you can activate that cadre unit, move him back to Paris, or whatever you want to do. But you can basically move 1 more unit around.
And then that'll be it, right? I mean,
that'll be it for the turn.
There's no reason to save that point, correct?
No, it goes away anyway.
Okay, so
say goodbye to Fred and move that, get that armor unit out of there.
Yeah,
but it was nice seeing you.
There we go. I'm gonna. But
Mark, I just want to give you an alternate thought.
Okay.
So put that guy back in sharp for a second.
Okay.
So the thing you might want to consider is if you look at the hex just south of La Havre, where you have the you might want to take one of those units, an armor unit, and shift them into 1/7. You want to start a line. You don't want them to be able to, with a lot of movement points, come through to room, or however you say that.
Right.
So I would move one of those. I would activate one of those guys and have him drop down to 1/7/1/1 just to start creating a line.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was
that might be a better move.
Okay, so let's see what I got here. So probably not a good idea. So I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a decision here. I'm going to stick the. I guess it really doesn't. I'm going to put the.
I would move like an armored. Yeah, you go. Yeah, the 12 SS perfect. So now you're starting to reestablish. You don't want them rolling down the coast. And now I didn't mention this before, but you see the V1 sites.
Yeah.
Fred, if the Allies capture those spaces, they will gain extra. They're incentivized through extra reaction points to grab those for the future. So because that allows them to move HQ, it helps their supplies. So that's a sidebar. So now, Fred, you finally can spend up to 3 reaction points. And what you want to think about,
I want to move my HQs, right?
is you want to get you definitely want to move HQs where possible and get them moving up, because
I think I
otherwise,
want to.
happening the first US. Dempsey, you might want to move like Dempsey into 1510 just to get him more forward to where those guys are near. Then you want to move the 3 HQs forward. That's if I were you.
Yeah, this one I want to move it probably up to here.
Well, that's only 5. You can go even one more.
But isn't it a risk to leave it on its own?
Yes, I would not leave it on its own, but you could have moved it into. You can move it into 1210. And remember, if an attacking unit is stacked with an HQ, it gets +3 combat power. So you might want Patton there,
Here?
or you might want him there, or I'd move the first US there and then send Patton to. Yeah, maybe Patton's okay where you had him, and then I'd move the first US to where you now have Patton, or shift then move the first US to there, and then flip Dempsey back to his unactivated site because he's done.
Oh yeah.
And I would then move him into 1510. Move him forward.
Just here, I think.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
And that's my. Those are my 3.
Now the turn is over. So we've totally finished up the. Now we're gonna go. Now we're gonna do something retroactively that we should have done.
Oh, wait a minute! I couldn't have done that. I only have 2 reaction points as the Allies.
Oh, then, fine. Then you got to move Dempsey back, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna move Dempsey back. Yeah.
I thought you had 3.
Yeah, I thought I had 3 too, but yeah, I was wrong.
Okay, so now, and I'm gonna have to get the chart so I can read it. So now we're now this should have happened already, but I was trying to keep things moving.
We should have committed supply points at the beginning of the round.
Now, Mark only has
1.
So he was going to commit 1 for sure. He wasn't going to go with 0. So Mark was going to throw 1. So if there's a cup here, you want to throw one of the German initiative markers into the cup. He only had 1 supply point to commit. So.
And that's from last turn?
Or yeah, from the beginning of this turn. At the beginning of every turn, before you do all this stuff, you have to commit points for the next turn. I didn't want to slow it down with those decisions. So just
for demo purpose, so I spend my 1 point, right?
And it's in this turn, it's gonna, and so in the August turn, you're gonna have one supply point in the cup, which is what you would never want to go with 0 at this point.
That's what this is.
Yeah. Now, Fred, you have up to 4 points you could spend, and I mean, you should spend at least 3.
Yeah, I was thinking about spending 3. Yeah.
Well, let's do that. So put 3 of your initiatives into the cup, and then put the administration marker into the cup.
So that leaves me with 1 supply point.
Well, at the moment, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
Now we're going to start the August turn. So reset the reaction track. So let me see. So the Germans get, I think they get. I have to look at your reaction points. Oh, here it is. So we look at the chart. Germans are going to get 5 reaction points for the Germans.
Okay.
And they're going to get 2 supply points.
And 2 supply points for the Germans.
The Allies are going to get 3 reaction points and 5 supply points. I think you could have said 4.
Do I add them to the one that I still have?
You take the one you would have spent all 4 for last turn. You would have given up 4 knowing you were going to get 5 now. Now you get 5 new ones, but you can't. We're going to be committing those in a moment.
What can I do with the last one then?
just throw it in the cup. So you could.
But I only have 3 activation chits available.
There should be. Well, the game comes with. Oh, you can never have more than 4. I apologize. Yeah, you can never activate more than 4. So I didn't realize that. So you have to save 1 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you're adding 5 to 1. You have 6 supply points.
6 supply points. Here you go.
Yeah. And now, just to when does that happen? Both player. Okay. So allied heirs during the heirs. Okay. So first off, Fred, roll a. Well, we're only going to count the white die, but roll a die. I need to know. Just don't roll a 6.
Okay, I'm gonna roll in real life. I rolled a 3.
Okay, good. So your air power, the weather is good enough for your air power. So that's the main point there.
Good.
Okay. So the air power is available. So you have 2 tactical air. Okay. First, make sure that any air score. Okay. Then. So now the question is up to you. How do you want to use your air? Do you want to use it tactically, or do you want to have or do you want to interdict his reaction points?
That's a good question.
So every air power you put into reaction points reduces his 5 by 2. So if you throw 1 in, he'll have 3, and you'll have 1 air unit to use.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have 1 to remove 2 of his reaction points and keep the other 1.
Okay, so drop him down to 3 available.
Yep.
Available points. Read that initiative chits, place administrative chits. Okay, so now there's a commitment marker. You both have to make commitments for supply for next turn. So, Mark, you've got 2 supply points. You could commit up to 2 supply points for the September turn. Now this is when you do all that.
And that's what will determine how many chits I can put in the cup, basically.
Next turn, yes.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't I commit to? Is there a reason?
Well, yeah, there is, because what's going to end up happening is, and for right now, I throw in 2. There will come a point where you start getting really short on supply, and you might want to build them up for like the Battle of the Bulge or something like that. But right now, I throw 2 in. Okay. And then you are going to throw in 4, Fred.
Yeah, I'm going to commit 4, definitely.
Okay, so that's that. So now we're ready to. We're back to. We got to pull something. We're ready to see. Hit the draw button. We're going to draw something out of the cup. See what happens.
Yep.
Well,
and what happens with the reinforcement?
Wait,
we both have reinforcements, actually.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Let me see when that happens. Oh, that's going to happen during the admin phase. So when the admin comes out of the cup, there's a whole separate little procedure. All that shit happens somewhere during the turn. We don't know when.
Okay, so I can draw. Yeah.
But there's an okay, so it's an allied initiative. So you're up, Fred. What do you want to do?
Okie dokie. Wait a minute. If I click end, do I remove all activations that I have?
What's that?
Yep. Yeah. No, there was a shortcut to remove all of the activations that I put before, so that's good.
That's nice.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the 3rd US.
Okay.
So I'm going to activate this headquarter. I can activate 5 and 5. I'm definitely going to activate those guys. Trying to figure out.
So the key for you is, how the hell are you going to get from where you are? You see, you want to get as far. You got to basically you got to take Paris. You got to get past the Seine, whatever.
Seine, yeah.
Seine. So you got to get past the Seine. You got to. So swinging out is what you're doing is right. You got to swing all those guys around and force Mark to run. So you're threatening to cut him off at a big hook.
1, 2, 3, 4. And I think I'm gonna keep punching the pocket, I think.
Yeah, and by the way, and you do need to kill that pocket, because now what will happen when the administrative phase comes up, that's when you determine supply status, and that's when you're going to find out that those guys start getting out of supply markers and they started trading and all this kind of nonsense. It's a pot. You pocketed them, and they will eventually die. but you're going to have to spend some effort with that because there's still a lot of guys there.
Gonna activate this. I'm gonna activate that. And I can activate one British with my or any British with my
No, the
US
Americans can
No.
only activate French and Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. Then there is. Oh, actually, I can activate this one that is on top over there. That wasn't activated before. So I'm gonna go here, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna do a move increment
Okay.
here. So, so all units can move 2, right?
You're at. I can't. I'll find it. I just got to bring the chart up here. Give me a second. Okay, so you're in that first increment. So basically, yes, everybody can move 2. So 2 moving points.
So I'm going to go.
Train. Right.
Going to go to Saint-Brieuc. I'm going to go to Le Mans. Here, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move those guys here. It's gonna make sense afterwards. Promise.
I think you're doing the right thing. You're massing your infantry to start to crush those guys.
Yeah. And I think this one is gonna move. I think I can afford to have one. Wait a minute. 6 contre 4. Ah, fait chier. Wait a minute. 7. Yeah, I cannot move if I want to keep. Yeah, punching the pockets. That's the only moves I can do. So that's gonna be my first move increment. Oh, and of course, those guys are coming here. Oh, rough terrain. What's the move?
2 per.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they only move 1. They only move from here to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's bad. But that's
well. Wait a
better
minute. Now, what you can do? No, what you could designate them as an administrative move, and they double their movement points. If you look at the chart, they just can't get into combat or anything.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Then I will do an administrative movement to go up to here.
And there's a marker for it, but we'll just have to remember.
Oh, but that means that those 2 units could have done an administrative movement too.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah. So because I want to go to Brest, right? So I could do 2 more, and I can go to 2.
Now, what is their supply? They'll be fine as long as they'll be good for the rest of this. This activation, but then they'll be out of supply unless you get an HQ down there eventually.
Yeah, for now they're in supply. So that's
they're activated, so they're automatically in supply.
Yeah, but they're still 6 hexes away from the 3rd.
Oh yeah.
US.
Perfect.
So that's going to be my first increment. My second increment is going to be an attack increment here. And I'm going to attack. I believe, is it doing so set piece? That's going to be a 10. Oh, yeah. So 17.
No, which hex, Fred?
So I think I'm gonna attack this one first.
So I have 7 defending, right?
So you have you are in a you have 7.
Cadre.
Yeah, the cadre is
only 1. But also remember the +1 -1 when you get to the morale calculation because of the rough terrain.
Yeah. So you've got 7, and I have 34 attacking you guys. So maybe that's a bit too much, right?
Well, yeah, I think that you don't want to. Well, remember once you get to it's once you exceed 3 to 1, it doesn't matter. 3 to 1. Once you have over 3 to 1, you might as well throw them all in and whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the 3 to 1 and have all units in those 2 hexes attacking this one. So I'm attacking at 3 to 1. And you have +1 on your morale check, and my lead unit is going to be is going to be the 20th US. No, that's not going to be the one. That's going to be the 7th US.
And my morale.
However, wait a minute, but he is out of supply though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When it's how we're only let me see what the
is there a chart?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it's in the there is a effect. It's in the combat section. I just got to find it.
Yeah, so if you look at the
It might be on the chart. I actually think the chart has it. Actually, doesn't it have here supply source?
I'm looking. It has when you place out of supply markers.
No, that's the administration phase. No, this is a combat effect for being out of control. He's out of supply, and it's got an effect. Let me just see it real quick. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's on the chart. It's so out of supply is -1 for the defender's morale.
That's on where the terrain effects chart, or
Yes, it is.
oh, let me check.
Yeah, if you look at so go down from defense. It says HQ support adds 3. Then morale modifier is -1 out of supply. It's right here. Look at the upper right part of the set piece battle chart.
Oh yeah, so it's
the set piece battle chart.
Just go. If you just walk in from the outer edge, it tells you everything.
Out of supply, right there. Got it.
Yeah. I knew it was obvious. I didn't.
Oh yeah, okay.
Keep it a secret. So basically, the out of supply cancels the terrain. If you look at it that way.
Yeah, because it's +1 -1. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a 4. You're using lair, I assume.
Yeah.
And Fred, you're.
I failed. I failed my morale check because I rolled a 5, and then.
But I also failed mine, so you're fine.
Oh, there we go. So this is going to be a fantastic failed attack, failed defense.
But I rolled a 2.
Stalemate. Yeah. Now the odds were okay. So what was your hit die roll, Fred?
My hit die roll was.
You rolled a 3.
The color die is 3, so that's 1 hit.
Right. The damage.
And Fred's gonna +1 if air and or. So he didn't have any armor support. So.
Oh, but I had an HQ.
You did not use an HQ, right?
But I had an HQ on the.
No, it had to be the.
I had an HQ on. HQ. Okay, so that's not the case. Yeah.
Yeah. So Fred, you took 2 hits, and Mark, you took 3 hits.
Even though I rolled a 2.
But down 1 hit because of the terrain, so you took 2 hits more.
Even though, and that's because of the odds, or what?
Yeah, the odds says defender greater than 2 to 1 odds +1 hit, both plus or minus terrain. So basically, the +1 hit was canceled by the terrain.
So I took 2.
But you rolled a 5, which is 2 hits. So you
no, I rolled a 2.
Wait, what was the total? I thought you. What was your
die wait roll? A minute! I understand something now. So
morale
there is
roll
something.
Was a 5, and my damage roll was a 2.
No, the green one is red. But you rolled. So, but first off, you both have 1. You both took 1 base hit. Let's just start with that because the die rolls, I can see that it's red. Gray was a 3, which is yours, Mark, and Fred's was a 2.
Oh, okay.
1 for 3 is 1 hit.
Right. I think there is. I think there is one thing in the Vassal module though that I think I just figured out is that the color dice doesn't give you a 1 to 6 result when you roll them. It actually translates them directly into step losses. So I think I just realized that. So it was 2 step losses for me, 3 step losses. So okay,
you're right. Yeah,
right. Now we know what's going on. I thought I was using it as a dark. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I was thinking that something was weird, but yeah.
Okay, so basically, Mark, you took 3 hits.
Which I have to take 1
on the terrain canceled out.
So I got to take
Fred, you took 2 hits.
2 hits.
But 1 more because of the high odds. You took an extra hit.
Yeah,
so you both took 3 hits, by the way. It was a bloody battle.
Another one, yeah.
Now, Mark, because of the stalemate, you must retreat. You have to take a 4th hit.
Oh, Lord. All right, well.
So 4 hits might do it. I don't know how many guys were there. Let me see.
No, I killed an infantry and flipped the 2 armors. Now I'm going to cadre the 17th SS.
Okay, so we're down to a reduced armor unit and a cod. So that's about what I would expect. And Fred, you took a whole bunch of smack there.
Yeah, and I took it. And now I'm gonna attack the second hex here.
Yep.
So that's a defense of 5, and I attack at 2, 6, 9. Oh, so that's a 1-1 actually.
Actually 1-1's not bad in this game. It's
Yeah.
you won't get
So
extra hits, but you won't get like too many guys in the battle to get hurt.
All
I'm
right.
gonna get 1-1, and I'm gonna have the second US leading the attack.
Yeah, but also he doesn't get any terrain benefit here, right? It's clear terrain.
Yeah, but I failed my morale check, and he succeeded his, so that's probably not great.
And I only took 1 loss, and you took 2.
Yeah, so it was a failed attack to a successful defense, so that's a repulse. 1-1
So the good
was
news, well, the good news for you. Wait. Okay, yeah. The good news for you, Mark, is because it's a May retreat, you don't have to retreat to take the extra loss.
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
and I take
And it
2
was
losses.
it was a 1-1, so that doesn't really do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So we take both 2 steps, right?
Well, no, it says you took 2, right?
I think he only took 1.
No,
Is
I
he
took 2.
mine? No, and I took 1.
Yeah,
I'm reading my line this time, and
Yeah. So basically, it was a bloody bad. He only took 1 loss. You took 2, Fred, and that took care of the
but it
conflict.
still has to be. Now I have nothing but cadres in there, though.
Yeah, one more push should close out the fillet gap here.
Okay, so that was that increment done, and now I have the last increment here.
Correct.
And I guess that's going to be a.
It's an armor attack or armor movement only. It
Yeah,
says
I'm thinking.
Is there a 6 in that space? I thought there was a 6.
The
So tanks can. So
There
you can
is
have
a
the tanks.
six,
You can have the tanks hit those cadres and try to finish them off.
in the open.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do with a final attack increment. Yeah, and that's going to be 6-3, so that's going to be a 2-1.
Okay. And there's no modifier here.
And yeah, I have a
You guys know how to do
3.
this now, so I'm going to let you run it.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I failed my morale check, but wait a minute. What's the morale for cadre?
1.
Is the for a cadre? What is the morale?
Everything for cadre is 1. Everything for cadre is 1.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so that's a failed check for failed
And
check for both of us.
I passed. No, right?
No, because you're
No, you're cadre. You're a cadre unit. A cadre unit, I think, is all 1s.
Oh.
1, 1, 1,
so
1.
it's
Okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
It's a stalemate.
Well, I'm gonna lose.
I have nothing, and I have 2 step losses, and it's gonna. Oh, that's a lot of step losses.
Oh, wait, here's the good news. So you can advance. Well, you could advance into the space, and the armor. You can advance. You should advance somebody in the space just to kill his ability to get anywhere and set up for the next.
And he lost 2 steps. You did.
Yeah,
Fred?
I lost 2 steps. Yeah, I just so now I have some cadres here. Yeah,
it was still bloody.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal, and that's the end of my activation.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we're now at we're not 2 hours in, so I would have to stop here. But what I suggest, Mark, if you want, now that we have the gist of it, is maybe to keep up playing it async or something like this, as you wish.
I've never done it by email. I mean, I'm willing to.
Or
try.
we can do it. We can find some time live to play over the weekend. I would be happy.
Well, I'll be in Tempe this weekend.
Yeah.
But when I get back, we can save the game and
save it all, Fred.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think? While you're saving things.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I think I'm glad I played it. Now I really want to bust it out, and I may do it later today. So, but I really enjoyed it, Mark. I think people that see this should think about, if they don't have it, getting a copy. Honestly, it's really playable. The whole time I was sitting here thinking, okay, what am I I was, of course, waiting for a chance to do something, but I was like, what am I going to do? And I was thinking about a lot of it's run away. I did want to ask you one question.
Mhm.
Is it worthwhile, like maybe to try to get like this Luftwaffe unit or something in Le Havre to just sit there and make the Allies attack them, or is it?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean,
it
I
is certainly so. If you think about the siege of
Brest.
Saint-Nazaire,
Yeah.
a
Oh,
German
yeah.
unit in a fort, in a fortified situation, and you just saw how bloody it was to dig out those guys in the Falaise Gap. I mean, yeah, leaving a unit that now remember one of the things that will eventually happen is his replacements. These units, he's wiping out a bunch of armor that's not coming back for a while, and that's important to him. And by the way, once he crosses the Rhine, you cannot replace those units anymore. You have to bring back these like
Those
they call them
Fuhrer, they
pure
call them.
Panzer one-step units. It's all you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So he does have to wiping these guys out. He just wiped out a couple of serious armor units that you won't get that many armor steps back if you look at the chart.
I'm thinking alternatively, what we can do, Mark, both Marks, is maybe do a part two where we can keep on take the game from where it is, and because so then yeah, because you'll have more activations in the August round. We can see the administrative phase and the replacement. So if you're both up for it, we could just do a
Sure.
part two and keep playing from this game on.
I think I like that idea if Mark's willing, just for the fact that I mean, obviously it's not that, but it would be good too for we could show people like
Yeah.
showcase it more to
Yeah, how it
play through
develops.
the
Yeah,
administrative phase and all that. I mean, yeah, to show so like a learn to play video, right? As a,
yeah.
like yeah, I think
So
Well,
that's
let's do that.
it's not a very complicated game,
yeah, it's
but
not.
it's got a lot of nuance to it. And
Yeah.
like I said, what the best strategy changes from game to game based on the Germans look like they've got a couple of their right flank held, so they're kind of starting to fall back down the coast. You did get a pretty good pocket of guys. I mean, I don't know how many divisions were in there, but it was about six, a couple of corps, and
Is
about
that
four.
typical?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it was. It's like it was 5 or 6 divisions actually. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a pretty good haul.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon if you look at how Filet went. They blew
right.
the heck out of them. So anyway, good, yeah, I'm up for it. Will let me know, but
We'll keep you
hope you
posted.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
That's why I also want to do a part two to actually see how it unfolds in the August round. I want to thank both of you for taking time. Thanks for everyone who was watching. Remember that you can support the show on Ko-fi by donating over there, and you'll join the Discord server. And just liking the video, adding a nice comment is always cool. It was pretty active on the chat, so thanks for everyone who was here.
Was there any other
And
big
Mark
questions
and
that
Mark,
came up while we were? Any other big questions that I
no,
missed? Anybody? That sounds good.
no, not really. But I guess that maybe for the next one, people will have maybe a bit more question now that they know how the game is rolling and everything. So that should be fine. Great.
Great,
Thanks, everyone.
wonderful.
See you
Thank
soon.
you, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.